Hello, social media family. Today, I'm going to talk about being well rested. And I'm going to be straight up with you. I am out to change your sleep habits from you watching this video. My name is Damian Reed. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a coach, mentor, and international speaker. And this series is based on the habits of the week that come from my Amazon international best-selling book. I was really privileged and fortunate enough to have that book when it was published a few years ago, go international bestseller in both in Canada, the US, and Australia. So this particular habit of the week is habit number 49, and it's about doing whatever you need to do to make sure that every night you get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep. That's the recommended amount of sleep for an adult. So you're seeing this on one of my social media channels. I just invite you to check out other habits of the week that I've posted before. And what we're going to do is we're going to just jump right in. So I'm going to take the case that you know that getting sleep is important. I'm not really gonna get into trying to tell you about that or convince you that sleep is important. What I really want to do is have you get how bad it is for you not to get sufficient amount of sleep. So I'm going to throw a bunch of studies and statistics and risks at you. And then I'm going to give you some ideas about how you can make sure that you get enough sleep. So first of all, there was a lab-based sleep study, and the subjects in that study were allowed to get only 6 hours of sleep a night for 2 weeks, okay? And they functioned as poorly as those people who were forced to stay awake for 2 days straight. So 6 hours a night for 2 weeks, they functioned just as poorly as people who were forced to stay up for 48 straight hours. And here's the kicker about that study. The ones who slept 6 hours per night thought they were doing just fine. In fact, they rated their own performance as normal, even though their cognitive skills were declining. They just didn't even know how bad their performance actually was. Isn't that amazing? I find that just fascinating, is that we can be sleep deprived and think we're operating great, but we're really, really not. So I told you I was going to tell you the risks. Let me find the risks. I'm just reading them straight out of the book. So sleep deprivation can cause damage to your body in the short term, and over time it can lead to chronic health problems and negatively impact your quality of life. So here are some of the risks about inadequate sleep. First of all, death. Inadequate sleep raises your risk of accidental injury and death from all causes. Next, impaired brain activity. Without plenty of rest, your brain is unable to rest and renew, leaving you ill-prepared to face the day. Next one, cognitive dysfunction. When you're sleep deprived, it's hard to concentrate. Your creativity and problem-solving skills deteriorate. It's like common sense, right? To get sleep. Memory problems. Your memory for recent happenings may suffer, and even long-term memories may be difficult to access. Moodiness. Sleep deprivation can make you moody, emotional, and quick to anger. This one's good. Hallucinations. If you go long enough without sleep, you may begin to have hallucinations. Depression. The long-term effects of sleep deprivation include anxiety, depression, and even thoughts of suicide. Microsleep. If you're seriously sleep deprived, you might fall asleep for short periods without even knowing it. That can be dangerous, especially if you're behind the wheel of a car. Have you ever had that happen where you're driving, maybe it's late at night, and you nod off into microsleep, and you wake up and you don't remember when you actually closed your eyes and the car happens to still be on the road, or you're drifting off to the side of the road. So dangerous. Talking about accidents, you become more accident prone. A lack of sleep can make you groggy and affect your balance and coordination, making you more prone to injury due to accident. Weakened immune response. Your immune system isn't working at full capacity, so you're more likely to become ill when exposed to bacteria and viruses. Weight gain. Lack of sleep can actually increase your appetite, and your brain may not get the message that you've had enough to eat. 3 more. Type 2 diabetes. Lack of sleep affects the amount of insulin released after you eat, increasing your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. High blood pressure. If you have hypertension already, a single night without adequate sleep can elevate your blood pressure for a whole day. And finally, heart disease. Sleep deprivation can lead to chronic cardiovascular problems like hypertension and heart disease. Crazy, right? Like, why, given all of those risks and all of the things that you could be dealing with from not sleeping, why wouldn't you make sure that you got 7 to 9 hours of sleep? Now, what's interesting to me is this topic I've actually seen it evolve over the last 4 years or so since I wrote the book. When I initially wrote the book, this topic of sleep was one of the bugaboos for me, and was something that really bothered me, because what was common in the entrepreneurial environment was this advocacy for working your butt off, hustle, burn the midnight oil, do it at all costs. And it was a badge of honor for entrepreneurs to have pulled all-nighters and not sleeping properly. And just around the time that I released the book, Arianna Huffington wrote her sleep book. And that was around the time that there began to be a shift in the way people talked about making sure that you get enough rest in the entrepreneurial space. Now, it's not complete, but there certainly has been an evolution where people are less so advocating for this, do it at the risk of your body and pushing yourself. And the thing that bothered me the most about it as I was writing this book, and as I said, it was habit 49. So I'd written 48 other habits and was just starting to wrap up the book with some really great closing habits. And this was one of them. And the thing that really bothered me the most was seeing so many of these so-called mentors and experts in the entrepreneurial space advocating for this work ethic that, in my opinion, was killing entrepreneurs. And I don't say that lightly. If you look at the risks associated with a lack of sleep, you can see that a lack of sleep leads to increased risk of disease and death. And in my opinion, these guys and girls, mostly guys, were simply giving bad advice to people and having them risk death. And that's what I really want you to get out of this, is don't put your life at risk for what you think is the beneficial process. So let's talk a bit more about how to get more and better sleep. This I'm gonna read from the book again, because there's some things here. I'm laughing because over the last week I had some horrible sleep, so much so that normally I would see, maybe I get up once in the middle of the night to go to the washroom, but I was getting up multiple times in the night, or I was awake multiple times in the night. And last night was my first night of really good sleep. And what I did was I started putting some of these things back in place. I just started to notice where some of these practices were out. And the moment I start putting them back in place, bang, my sleep was right back on track. So here are some ideas that will help you get longer and better sleep. First of all, power down your electronics at least an hour before bedtime and cover up any display that you can't turn off. Okay, so if you're in a bedroom and you've got like things that are lit up at night, then just cover them so that you don't have those lights interfering with you. And also, before bedtime, if there's displays that are sort of electronics that are popping up and so forth, then just cover them up. Remove the blue light from electronics, as it may interfere with your ability to fall asleep. So most of our electronics now can go into night mode, which decreases the amount of blue light. You could also get your blue light glasses and use those, so that reduces the amount of blue light that you're actually getting. Number 3 is add apps or select settings on your devices that convert to warmer colors in the evening. So that's just a little bit more as what I was talking about with the blue light. You can do that. Number 4 is don't use warmer colors on your devices as an excuse to leave your devices on in that last hour before bed. Gosh, this was one of the things that I really had to deal with, is that even though my devices were set to go to the warmer colors, I found that I was looking at them within that last hour of bed, and I really need to cut that out. The next one is lower the lights around your home 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. If you can start to dim the lights and start to have yourself be in a setting where where the lights are going down, it starts your body into that process of getting ready for bed. And then one of the things that I notice is that I'll do that, but then let's say I go into the bathroom and I flip on the bathroom light. Well, there's that that bright light of the bathroom that's now just completely ruined me putting the other lights dim. So just consider maybe you use a different kind of light when you go into the bathroom, or if you're going into your bedroom, you're not turning on the bright overhead light of the bedroom, like you're continuing that process of just having the lights on at a low position. The next is to get your neck into a neutral position where it's lined up with the center of your body when you sleep. So if you're sleeping on your side, get a pillow so that your neck is like straight on with your body. So it's not like this, it's not like this, etc. And it's the same if you're lying back. Don't have your head tilted back or tilted forward. Just have it in a neutral position. The next one is to increase or reduce the size of your pillow to have your neck aligned properly. So that's more of what that previous one was. And if you sleep on your back, the pillow should be just large enough to support the curve of your neck. This is one of my favorite ones. Save your bed for sleep and sex only. Okay, so don't go in there and watch TV. Don't go in there and work. Don't go in your bed and surf the internet. Keep that out. And have your bed in your bedroom be in an oasis in your home, like it's a place of peace and quiet. This one may be a little controversial for some of you, but get this. Keep your pets out of your bed. Their movements can actually disturb sustained sleep. So I know you want them to come up and cuddle with you and so forth, but they can wake you up. They can interrupt your sleep during the course of the night. And then the last two, number 1 is establish a routine, schedule to create your sleep habit, and go to bed and wake up around the same time every morning and evening, even on weekends. So keep your habit going through the weekends, okay? All right, those are some of the ideas and thoughts about that. If this is something that you find that you need help with, then there's some great books out there. I mentioned Arianna Huffington's book on sleep, so that's one that you could look at. There's some other books out there that are really great on sleep and scheduling and so forth. If you want to talk to me about it, just go ahead and follow the links inside of my social media profile and schedule a Freedom Factor assessment with me. I'm happy to spend that time with you and actually give you solutions out of that call. And if you're interested in working with me, I do have space available for my private coaching. I've got space available for my on-demand mentoring. We're running the Reflect, Recharge, and Create retreat. The live one will be taking place in Collingwood, November 25th to 27th. And the online one is going to be taking place January 14th to 16th. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Be sure to comment. Let me know how it's going for you.